Hey everybody, it's Rich Tola, and thanks for tuning in to Tola Talks. If you want to learn more, check out my website, richtola.com, or find me on social, @RichTola. So today is Wednesday, and it's WTF Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about the environment and how corporations affect the environment. We're going to get to that a little bit later. But first, let me give you an idea of how I came up with this concept. Last night I was watching Erin Brockovich. Remember the movie from 2000 with Julia Roberts? She won the Academy Award for that. She was awesome. It was written and directed by Steven Soderbergh. It was actually had 4 other nominations for Best Picture, Best Actor for Albert Finney, and Best Script, that was Savannah Grant, and then Soderbergh for Best Director. Produced by Danny DeVito. So here we are with Erin Brockovich, who's the mother of 3, right? She gets a job with Albert Finney, and she ends up taking down, potentially, almost taking down the California Power Company that poisoned the water of Hinckley, a fictitious town. But we're going to be talking about that today because a lot of corporations, they're not doing their best to save the environment. Well, let's talk about that. But first, let's get to a couple celebrity birthday shout-outs. You know, I like to get started here. 29 today. She's awesome. Amanda Seyfried. I mean, everybody knows her, right? She's been around quite a while. Born in Allentown, Pennsylvania, right? She started modeling at the age of 11, and then by the age of 15, she landed a role on As the World Turns. Remember that soap opera? Started there in 1999, and then she landed her first film, Mean Girls, by Tina Fey, about 5 years later. You might remember her from Little Red Riding Hood in 2011. Not Little Red Riding Hood. It was Red Riding Hood. I liked her in that film. Also, Mamma Mia in 2008. Definitely had some singing training. In high school, she was in plays, and she says that if she wasn't an actress, she'd be a meteorologist. How about that? And she also was up for the role Baby Doll in Sucker Punch. Love that film. And Daisy in The Great Gatsby. She never got that as well, but she's awesome. German, English, Scottish babe. So, yeah, happy birthday to Amanda. She's 29. How about, who else do we have? Katarina Witt. Remember her? She was probably the most successful figure skater of all time. She's got 2 gold medals to her name from East Germany, 1984 in Sarajevo, and 1988 in Canada, Calgary. She's a 4-time world champion and a 6th consecutive European champions from 1983 to 1988. She's awesome. Happy birthday to you, Katarina. And Juliana Moore is 54 today. Daryl Hannah's 54 today. I love Daryl Hannah in Splash. Remember 1984 with Tom Hanks? Loved her in that. John Candy, one of the greats. Rest in peace. She was also in The Pope of Greenwich Village with Mickey Rourke and Eric Roberts. Another one of my favorites. But one of the ones I remember her most, which most of you may not remember, is The Clan of the Cave Bear. Awesome book. Actually, 4 books written by Gene Aul. You might know The Mammoth Hunters, but Clan of the Cave Bear is the first book in that series. You got to read it. It was awesome. Not exactly a great movie for Daryl Hannah. Not like Wall Street. Remember, she was in that in the late 80s as well. But happy birthday to you, Daryl Hannah. And finally, Ozzy Osbourne. Remember the Oz from Black Sabbath, the lead singer? He's 66 today. Yeah, reality fame, heavy metal great. So, hey, happy birthday to the celebrities out there. Let's move on. I'd like to go around the globe for some latest news. What are we talking about here? Anybody hear about the 100 brains that meant that? What is going on with me today, folks? I found myself in London, so here I am getting all tripped up. So no, there was 100 brains that went missing from the University of Texas at Austin. And they're like, how did that happen? Yeah, the University Animal Resources Center originally received these in 1986 for some testing, right? They were going to be used in the psychology department. They're going to do some testing. It was a temporary possession agreement, they're saying. But what happened? What happened with these? They went missing, 100 of them, about half of their inventory. But no worries, because if they can't find the brains, all they have to do is go check out the football team who went 6-6 this year. They said if they don't make a bowl game, either the Texas Bowl or the Liberty Bowl, they're going to use their brains. I'm trying to weave in some comedy. Remember yesterday's show? We try to integrate that. Here we go. What are the top 10 searches in Yahoo for the year 2014? Let's list them out. Ebola's number 1. Everybody knows. We've been reading about that for months now. Minecraft, the video game about breaking and, I guess, placing blocks. I mean, something I never played. But that's number 2. Ariana Grande. She's awesome. Beautiful. She's number 3. Jennifer Lawrence. I'm not sure if it's from the nude pics, but she was number 4. Hunger Games, of course. Kaylee Cuoco, who got married this year, she's got a new hairdo. So she was number 5. Love her in Big Bang Theory. How about Kim K? Kim Kardashian, right? I think she got number 6 because of the big booty. Or those pictures were quite nice. Number 7 was Frozen, right? The highest grossing animated film of all time, of course. Number 8, Miley Cyrus. I mean, she's still there. 6 of the top 10 are female stars. Yeah, they said she overdosed in July. There's all sorts of stories going on about Miley, but she's doing great, I'm sure. She's number 8. Number 9's the iPhone 6. Not sure why. Maybe because it bends, or maybe they fixed that problem. Who knows? And number 10, Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, smoking hot 45-year-old who was the first to show her butt. So, I don't know. Maybe people were searching for her to see if they could find her nude. But way to go, Jen, to round out the top 10. All right. What else? Let's call this robots. Anyone? Anybody hear about this on Google? They're called, the CAPTCHAs. They're those little squiggly names that you got to sort of write in. They're hard to remember. Numbers and letters that kind of make you prove that you're a human and not a robot. Well, guess what? They're talking about getting away with those. I sure hope so, because I got to click 2-3 times just to get to the right name, right? I always spell it wrong because I can't even read those squiggly lines. Well, those CAPTCHAs, they're trying to do away with those. Google says, don't be surprised if the next time you try to get onto a website, a little box pops up and says, I'm not a robot. Well, I don't know about that, but that's kind of like dummy proof. But guess what? What happens if you are a robot? I don't know. The good news is it helps anyone with that poor eyesight or can't read those squiggly lines. The bad news is, if you are a robot, there's no way that you could donate your brain to the University of Texas. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with something funny here. Here we go. Let's go to the Get Your Shit Together Award. You know how we like to do this. We like to give out a Get Your Shit Together Award. This one, I don't know. What we're talking about is to be or not to be a robot, or this one's kind of interesting. We're going to Canada. This place in Hamilton, Ontario, up in Canada, right? This is kind of interesting. Talking about an overabundance of faith. I guess this woman had a lot of faith in God or resurrection. I don't know if she's seen any of those movies, but Alien Resurrection. But this is a Canadian woman who truly believed that her husband, who was 52 when he passed away, which was back in March, she thought he would be resurrected if her and her friends and her family, her 5 children, would pray to him to be resurrected. So she kept them locked up in a room, sealed, so the decomposing body wouldn't smell, for about 5 or 6 months until the police knock on her door. Guess why they knock on her door? They gotta come and get her because she's getting evicted for not paying her mortgage. Well, they find the dead guy, been sitting there for 6 months. I don't know what the heck that's all about, but here we go. So the wife leaves the decomposing body, and I'm thinking she's got to get her shit together, because I don't know what she's thinking. Maybe she hasn't seen the movie Ghost, or they should tell her to go watch the movie Ghost, because I don't know. Unless you're going through Whoopi Goldberg, how the hell are you going to resurrect a body? But I got to give the Get Your Shit Together to this woman, because you shouldn't be doing that, right? Dead bodies, you got to report it to the police. The good news is they let her off easy. They were going to get, they didn't find her too badly. You're supposed to alert the police or a coroner when somebody dies, which she didn't do. But now they said, no worries, honey. We're going to get you some therapy. She needs a lot more than that. There you go. Get your shit together to the family up in Canada who kept a decomposing body in a locked up room for about 6 months. I don't know. On that note, let's go to WTF. Like, everybody knows, what's going on, right? According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, right, industrial and commercial energy use, we're talking about electric, production, transportation, anything to do with gasoline, anything to do with processes, burning fossil fuel, anything to do with anything that can affect the environment. That's what we're talking about. They said that these industrial and companies account for 30% of the greenhouse gas emissions. Man, I'm really not working it today with the mouth. You see, we changed our setup a little bit. Maybe got me a little confused. Anyway, global warming, 30% of it's going to be attributed to these companies. And how eco-friendly is your company, is your business, right? Well, let's check it out. These are the top ways that businesses affect the environment. Number one, heating and cooling, right? Heating and air conditioning systems. They pump greenhouse gas emissions. I can't say the word gas today. Gas emissions into the atmosphere, and they use up a vast amount of electricity. Yeah, no kidding. They said number two, many buildings aren't equipped for energy efficiency. The systems aren't made for that. You know, they're older buildings and they're not upgraded to efficiency, especially heat and air conditioning. Right. Number three, many buildings are built from materials that don't come from renewable sources. I mean, that's all the rage now. You got to use renewable sources. Number four, office buildings have a big appetite for electricity to power lighting, air conditioners, computers, whatever, and they're usually left on 24/7. I mean, how many companies they leave with all the lights on, everything's running? Shouldn't be doing that, right? Especially when no one's working. Good. Number five is offices consume vast amount of paper products. No doubt. Where do these paper products end up? In landfills. Yeah, I know a lot about landfills back in my days up in Staten Island. Oof, the Arthur Kill landfill, that thing's massive. Well, guess what? That's not exactly good for the landfills, but yeah, they keep getting larger. And then talk about waste. What about equipment? The electronics, the computers, everything to do with photocopying. Where do they end up? In the landfill, especially when they're unused and you can't sell them. They're harmful chemicals that could leak into the ground. So there's a lot of things that affect our environment. And finally, rush hour traffic jams affect the environment in a big way, wasting a lot of time and pollution being emitted into the universe. So think about carpooling. Think about mass transit. That's the way to go. But what can you do? What can you do to positively impact the environment, especially if your company is not really doing a great job at it? Well, here's what you could do. First and foremost, you got to be conscious of it. Got to be conscious that anything you do involving anything with electricity or getting in your car is going to affect the environment in a negative way, right? Global warming. We all know about that. So here's what you got to do. You got to turn the lights off at all times when you can. Well, unless you're a big fan of the movie Big with Tom Hanks, remember that with Elizabeth Perkins where you like to leave the light on? Yeah, we know that. So unless you're one who likes to leave the light on when you're rolling around in the hay, turn the lights off whenever you can, folks. Same thing with air conditioning at night or during the day. Try to turn your air off when you go to work, and at night, turn the heat down, right? Unless you're one of those who likes that hot yoga class in the morning or, waking up to have it really toasty, just turn the heat down. Save the power, save the money, save the environment. There you go. How about paper? You want to use both sides. So if you're using one side of the paper, flip it over, use the other side, especially if it's scrap paper. Do that all the time and then throw it away. So there you go. You're wasting half the paper if you're only using the one side. And how about the computers and stuff? Well, you got to try to resell them. Before their time, resell them. Resell them to someone else at a lower cost that's going to use them, because all you're going to do is throw it away and it's going to end up in the landfill, potentially damaging the environment. So there you go. There's a lot of other ways you can do it to help the environment, but think consciously, people. That's what it's all about. It's about protecting the environment for future generations, of course. Be conscious of it, right? Be respectful. We talked about that in yesterday's show. And at all times, whatever, you want to kind of think positively and positively affect the environment. Wow. How about that? That's our show for today. You want to check us out tomorrow. It's Throwback Thursday. We're continuing to evolve this show. Friday, I got a nice interview for you, a comedian coming up. So check us out. Check us out again. Past shows, you know where to find it. On the website, social media. And that's it, folks. I'm Rich Tola. And remember, dreams do come true. But hey, what do I know?